And Krankenwagen is an ambulance. Hello. How's everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's yours? How has your week been? What's everybody been up to? German is a funny language. Hello, John. Hey, Demon. How's things? Um. Well, that's your question to ask. I wouldn't want to take that from you, no? Um, about the same. Uh, yeah. I'm still not well. Uh, Next week is quite a busy week in terms of appointments and things. So, um, yeah, and yeah. Have you been same, same? Because I've been off the steroids for a few weeks at this point. I'm back to kind of not a good place with my guts. So I'm hoping that the injections that I'll start having next Thursday, just before stream actually, um, will be helpful. Uh, Ish, I think you're right. Yeah. Finished watching Netflix. Netflix's Lara Croft. Very shit. Fair. I mean, I have an interesting thought when it comes to like films and TV shows about video games in particular, which is that I really the reason that books can be turned into films relatively easily is that they're still a pretty linear story with uh that you can sort of simplify in a way that makes it uh still enjoyable, still interesting, still, worth watching to a degree. A lot of the time, if you have read the book first, like Ready Player One is a fantastic story, but the film not only simplifies it, but changes the tone quite drastically. Like the main thing that what do you call it? The book emphasizes is that this like digital world that they created, the Oasis, is uh really just a distraction from the plight of human suffering, and we need less of it and more of living in the real world. The film doesn't do that. Uh they're like, oh, we shut down the Oasis on like you know Tuesdays and Thursdays so people spend more time in the real world, but that doesn't actually solve the problems that put them there in the first place. Anyway, but the problem with games is that because they are inherently interactive, by trying to take the storyline out of a game and then just simplify it into a film, you end up losing a lot of the magic that is the game. And uh, I think that like a lot of stories work really well when you're the protagonist playing them, living through that, story. But when you then become a passive observer to the story, less interesting. I think the best way to do it is to tell a related story, like you know, give give a backstory to a character or to the world or something, rather than like trying to just tell the story of one of the games or whatever. Um, but yeah. Hello Simon and hello Chris. How you guys doing? They tried to do action scenes and it felt very cringy. Yeah, I think I'm yet to see a good video game movie, you know? There's films that are about video games that do really well because they're stories that are meant to be told in a, film sense, but um yeah. Also, the tropey back and forth between characters felt like it was written for a 7-year-old. That was what I also felt with Ready Player One as well. Yeah, it was very, very simplified. Like even the villain Nolan Sorrento, the head of IOI, um, in the book, he's a talented programmer. He is the one who is completing a lot of the challenges and the gates and the keys and things. Uh, with the asterisk that he's probably getting help for some of them, right? But in the film, he is just a corporate bigwig who who does basically nothing and like hates the Oasis, like doesn't understand why anyone uses it, like I like the Mortal Kombat movie, probably because the game also lacks plot and depth and twists. Is that the Legend of Chun-Li, or is that a different? Because there's a channel that I very much like watching called Folding Ideas, um, and he did a video about the Legend of Chun-Li, a Street Fighter story or whatever, and yeah, it's interesting. Da, 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 da. When you go the other way, like with Witcher season 1, start when they can't follow the story because it's not linear. Yeah, well that's the funny thing is that like Henry Cavill is actually the ideal person to like make video game movies because he actually like likes the video games. He read all of the Witcher books. Like seems like he actually is pretty invested in the the world that he is involving himself in, and I think that something the producer or the director was like, no, 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 we're doing it my way, and screw you. Who cares about your your accuracy? um, I also like Max Payne like a lot. I haven't seen that one. I think I played Max Payne 3. Kind of enjoyed it. But I haven't seen the film. Hello Joe and hello Jim. How you guys doing? Damn, a new index lead is expensive. What lead? To bend some metal. Huh? And hello Simon S63. How you doing? Oh, the tether cable. Right. Yeah. I was like, fair enough. The the, the index lead. um but yeah, and then you said bend some metal. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Um Squash the USB port. Ah, I see. Right. As in the one that goes into well, your PC. How am I doing? Same. um Next week's really busy for appointments, like healthcare related things. Um but yeah. I start my injections next week for the ulcerative colitis. So we'll see how that goes. I don't really care about the injections themselves. It will be a pen that you just like stab into your thigh or whatever. Like I there'll be some novelty for the first couple of them, like, but I don't really care about the injection part. What I care about is that if I do get side effects, for example nausea, which is what I have with every other immunosuppressant style drug, Um, I can't just stop taking the pills. Like the thing with the Mercaptopurine I was taking, the chemotherapy that they didn't tell me was chemotherapy, and the azathioprine, which is the same thing but different name, is that once I started getting side effects, I could just stop taking them. These injections last 2 weeks. So I just have to wait it out for 2 weeks and then not, take the next injection kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see. See how it goes. That's next Thursday, so I will have been injected for next stream. And for some reason it only displays when I unplug my second monitor now. Interesting. What's kind of crazy is that I have 3 displays hooked up and the index to one GPU. I thought they only had 3 display outputs, but I guess they have 4 because one of my displays doesn't turn off to run the index. So although it's kind of even funnier because the index is actually 2 displays. It's 2 like what is it? Like 2 sort of 1440p but square displays, so like 1440 by 1440 or something. That render slightly different images. So yeah. No, it's one jab per 2 weeks. Like I take a jab day 1 and then I don't take another one for 14 more days, or 13, depending on how you count. It won't display. Take the HDMI out from my other monitor, and then it instantly comes on. Well, that's impressive. I've got nothing there. Yeah. What GPU? I never remember. Is it 6900 XT? That's not too bad. Then at least won't be a pincushion. Yeah, like it's fine. It's just if I take it and then I get side effects, I can't just not take the next one. Like I won't take the next one, but I can't get the side effects to go away. For 2 weeks. Not gonna stab it Pulp Fiction style. Oh man, so disappointed. Yeah, it has to be into a soft area, not like your sternum. Doom has like one scene that tickled memories, but generally cash grab. Fair. Oh dear. Did I miss anything? Oh, it used to work just fine before. Yeah, I mean, unless it's something like the USB port is shorting ground or power, something like that, maybe. Uh, but I really don't know. Like I said, I got nothing. Maybe it's a bug with AMD, in combination with your fucking USB port. I really don't know. I don't know how you've done this. Picked up an absolute steal this morning from a charity shop down the road. I got a set of almost brand new Corsair Void Elites for a massive £1. Nice. I don't know where my Void headsets, because I have 2 of them. I don't know where they've gone. I had at least one of them hanging around on the spare desk as like a backup headset for a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Upstairs somewhere probably. Oh, I did structural repair to my house the weekend. I bought all the stuff. The tool broke, like the setting tool broke immediately, and I bodged the fix, and I actually made it better than how the original tool would have been. So, profit. And I now have a bunch of rods above my head. She said she got them for her husband, but he said they were too flashy and didn't want them, so his loss is my gain. I mean, I don't really get the whole, like, I don't think that I could, like, the social pressure of, like, immediately rejecting like gift, especially from my spouse, like, oh, I do that. Um, you've got a better tool than OG. Yeah, so basically the structural repair that I needed to do, and that I still need to do. I've only done, I don't know, let's call it a quarter of it. I need to do 2 lots of rods on this side, and then 2 lots of brackets or straps on this side, because it's a party wall. So the structural repair I did was I got 1 meter long stainless steel threaded rods with a sharp point on the end, and you drill a big hole through the wall, and then you thread the rods through the wood, the joists that are all side on to the wood, and then you backfill the hole with epoxy so that the rods have essentially tied the wooden frame to the wall. And so that's what I've done. But the way that you do that after you've drilled the hole is there's a sort of setting tool, which basically is like a fancy, turned out to be cast like steel, like basically nut with a shank on the end that you can put in a drill to then drill it in, or an SDS specifically. And the whole thing is that it has like a little rod in on the inside of it. So there's a nut on the outside essentially, and then a rod that threads into the back half of the nut and pushes on the rod, so that as you're pushing the rod in, it's not the threads of the nut that's taking all that force, it's the rod itself. I threaded it on, and then I tried to basically hand wind the thing in very slightly because there wasn't enough room for the SDS drill on the back of it. We decided that wasn't going to happen, and when I took the thing off, it just snapped. The back half and that rod that pushes on just snapped. So I happened to have a bolt that fit, and so we threaded the bolt in, and then used an impact gun to run them in instead, and that worked perfectly. So yeah. I want to upgrade from a 2060 Super. Is it better to get a 7700 XT 390 or a 6800 for 340? So to be clear, I haven't reviewed either of those cards, at least I don't think. So I'm not the best person to ask. But what I would do is check the performance of those two cards to see how they compare. I have a sneaking suspicion that the 7700 XT is probably faster than the 6800 non-XT. And especially for the age of the cards, the extra generation means that you'll get driver updates for several years more, basically, if you buy the newer card. And so I think that is probably worth the $50 extra. But have a look at the performance. If they're very similar, or if the 7700 XT is only very slightly ahead, then it might be a bit more of a toss-up. But personally, I think I'd prefer the 7700 without doing any research. Like, just off the top of my head, that's, I think, what I would prefer. If I told my wife I didn't like a gift, I wouldn't have a wife anymore. Fair. Ow. Man, this whole explanation be right for a Twitch clip, complete with hand gestures. Yeah, you put the rod in the... PC just blue screen for a second time, trying to set this box up, but the blue screen was so fragmented, I couldn't read it. Nice! My PC's been blue screening, actually. It's only like... maybe once a week. It's it freezes while I'm playing videos, and then about, I don't know, 2 minutes later, it's the DPC watchdog violation error, and it blue screens. Steam saying the headset display was not found. Interesting. So my main rig is I no longer play games. Back to using an older system, B450 3700X. RAM is 2600 from Broken Dell. Would better memory benefit overall system performance? What's the sweet spot? Oh god. For third gen, I think it was 3600 megahertz. Was the sweet spot for third gen, and with Ryzen in particular, you will see a decent amount more performance with faster RAM. Or was it 32? And was it 32 for third gen and 36 for fifth gen? Is that it's been a few years. 3600? Okay. Yeah, I thought I was going mad. But yeah, you will see performance improvement for sure. But yeah. I asked to be notified on YouTube, and it did not notify me. Welcome to YouTube, where it doesn't do what it says it's going to do. Hello Craig and hello Paul. How you guys doing? Been back and forth with the company about a case they wanted me to review, arguing that I haven't received it at all, even though they said they have sent it weeks ago and have signed proof of acceptance. I was arguing I don't have it, and if I had it, I have it. Turns out I did have it, and my daughter put it in the gas cupboard to keep it safe. Was not impressed. Oh dear. Was a fun email to write. I bet. I can feel the secondhand embarrassment from here. I'm so sorry. And fourth time giving up for tonight. Fair. Is it just that the USB port, like the USB header, is buggered? Also, in a surprising bit of tech that I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I have, I bought an inspection camera, like a borescope type camera, for like 25 quid on eBay, and it's amazingly useful, especially for car stuff. I've been helping a neighbor whose BMW is broken. Surprise, I know. And we're using it to find a coolant leak. It's got a like 2 meter long, sort of flexible but stiff sort of cable to it, basically on the camera. Yeah, it's really useful. It comes with a load of accessories as well, including a little like sideways mirror, so you can look at stuff at right angles to the camera, like cylinder walls. I'm not looking at my own. I want to live in blissful ignorance. I mean, there's no problem, so I don't really care, but still. I'm here because I'm looking to build an AI computer to run local LLMs. Gotcha. Well, the biggest thing with local LLMs is, for the most part, graphics memory. The more VRAM you have, the better. Some LLMs can and do run on the CPU, and therefore it sort of depends on your budget, what your priorities will be, because some more system RAM will also help. And then obviously a fast processor as well. But yeah, what sort of budget you thinking? And also, what sort of LLMs? You're waiting for the 5090. Gotcha. If I'm being honest, I'm not entirely convinced that Nvidia is going to up the VRAM count or amount. Even though it's a pretty cheap thing for them to do, it's Nvidia. At every opportunity they've had to up the VRAM, they have done exactly not that. I mean, shit, they got sued for the 970 selling it as 4 gig when it's actually 3.5. So, yeah. Like, why does the was it 4070? That's still 8 gig, isn't it? Or they just cut the bandwidth, yeah. 3.5 and a half. I was hoping for 32 gig. I have absolutely no information, like inside information. This is just my thoughts on Nvidia's trend of not putting any VRAM in their GPUs. um, so yeah, I wouldn't be super hopeful. We'll see when it comes out. You know, see what they say. But yeah, I personally I wouldn't be too optimistic about that. If you're going to buy a 5090, you might as well partner it with Threadripper. I mean, they are pretty sick. I mean, enough RAM. Yeah? I'm looking to add Threadripper Pro and 4 5090s. Christ, alright. Well, fair enough. um, that might be a bit out of my my league there. I actually haven't run a multi-GPU setup in a long time. Yeah. I found a case that holds 4 GPUs. Well, the problem isn't necessarily if it can hold 4, it's can you fit them in the PCIe slots? If you're going to water cool them, that's fine. But a lot of the 4090s, for example, are at least triple, if not quad slot cards. And okay, with risers, fair enough. Out of interest, what case would let you have 4 risers? Is Case Lab shut down years ago. At least I think they did anyway. I'm sure it was. Oh yeah, a mining frame. Yeah, that would work. I don't really consider a case a mining frame a case. It's a bit of extruded aluminium, like it's a rack. You know, it's a shelf for GPUs. um, yeah, I mean, I'm now quite intrigued. Is that for hosting LLMs, like for other people to use, or is it for personal use? Sounds a bit weird, but yeah. You can fit so many rices in this bad boy. My own use. Fair enough. I mean, I must admit that my experience in, well, running LLMs is okay. I have, you know, run a lot of, runs the various open source softwares. But I don't actually have much experience in running, well, I don't have any experience in running multiple GPUs, so I don't know what applications would actually make use of that. Is it, I suppose you say LLMs, rather than like image generation. Is it what you call it? Are you planning on running something like Llama, like the 70 billion model, or something else? It's been a little while since I've looked at the models as well, actually. Again with hand gestures. What can I say? I talk with my hands. Oh dear. Suggestive Team GB. There's a lot of things that I am, but suggestive is well, apparently clearly one of them. Oh dear. Uh Way outside of my scope, I only ever toyed with making meme pics, never venture to LLMs. Don't even use ChatGPT or Siri. I mean, it's quite rare that I use any generative products. Um, but yeah, fair enough. I was gonna say about the 9800X 3D, but I realized that was last week. Time tends to blur uh into one big cohesive mess in my head. Um, I'm trying to work out what has come out this week, if anything, and I don't think there has. Um, yeah, no. Anything exciting particular have in or got coming? Well, I have a new or another like Xbox style controller coming from it's like Nixie or something. Which is kind of funny because so they sent me an email and they said, "Hi, do you want to review our controller?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Here's my address. Send it." They said, "No worries. Here's our like briefing document. Please read through, and if everything's okay, we'll carry, we'll send it out." So I read through the document, and like to be clear, a lot of companies send what are called reviewer guides, which is not necessarily a document to say this is what you must cover, and it's not a guide for the review as such. It is basically just like, here's all the stuff that we think you should know about our thing so that you don't have to go and find it yourself, right? It's kind of helpful for so for example, on like CPU reviews, Intel will share reviewers guides for the most part that you can use to like sanity check your benchmarks. So they include things like Cinebench scores and Blender scores and game data, so you can see, okay, my configuration must be wrong because I'm getting like half the performance of what they say. Um, so that can be useful. And so I always have a read through. It's always interesting to see what the company like essentially wants you to talk about, even if it's not any sort of requirement or push or anything. And so I read through. And I was like, okay, okay. And then I got to close to the bottom, and it said influencer or whatever will share the review before publication to confirm, like, so we can confirm there is no misinformation about our product included. Okay, one of the main rules for being a reviewer is don't send the video to the company before you publish it. So that's a no-no. And then the very next point was, and you give us all secondary publication rights, like including like full re-uploads, everything. Like basically, we own the video. And so I emailed back, I have my own rules when it comes to reviews. No one sees the video before it goes live, and two, you've just I really don't like that you've just given yourself rights to re-upload my videos. So if you're happy to take those two things out, let's continue. And they replied almost immediately saying, "Oh yeah, no problem. We will if you have any questions or issues, please let us know, and we will ask if we want to, like use any of the video or quote any of the video, whatever. I was like, I wonder how many people don't read through that document, but like especially smaller channels and things that haven't, or like newer channels and things that haven't had all of the almost 13 years of experience reviewing shit online that I have. And would just go, yeah, yeah, sure, that's fine, that's fine. Yeah. Uh, uh, Also, see Simon. Enjoy. Uh, and Elfin Tech X Gaming. Why is that? I think that's why you don't show the video. The answer for that is it means that the company can preempt any criticisms you may have publicly, like before you publish. They can come out, get ahead of any thing you might say. And second, it also then gives them essentially leverage to then pressure you into not publishing or editing the video. They might, come at you with a load of like, oh no, 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 you misunderstood. This is how you're meant to do it. And then you go and like, refilm whatever the way that they say you should do it, which produces favorable results. And you're like, oh yeah, this is okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When in reality, if you use it like any normal person, that's a problem, that sort of that gets awfully close to editorial control, and that gets awfully close to being a paid sponsorship or advertisement. And the whole point of reviews is that yes, it essentially acts as marketing for the companies, but it's still an objective test and objective opinions of the reviewer, um, as isolated from the brand as you can be, basically. And so yeah. um, just reading Ish's bracketed joke. Um, yeah. I wouldn't be accepting that. I get loads of companies practically trying to tell me what to say, and they often don't go ahead when I say nah. I'll say what I want. Yeah, I mean that's kind of part of the course. The the fact that companies want you to uh, basically just like do an ad for them but for free. Like I understand what the companies are asking, but also it's pretty insulting to ask, especially to a seasoned reviewer, perhaps. Graying. Um, yeah, that's probably SOP, but you caught it. Yeah, I mean, especially with anything to do with the channel, like I'm reading through every like document, every contract, every whatever. I have a sponsored video and short in the works, and the contract document was really long, mostly because it was not necessarily exact duplications, but it was like agreements from the brand itself and then agreements from the marketing agency that were pretty much overlapping. But I still read through all of the terms and whatnot to make sure that I wasn't, selling my soul. So yeah. I've been backing a few things on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and have been really enjoying doing it. Nice. Have you had any fulfilled yet? Which is the interesting question, because obviously when you do back stuff on crowdfunding platforms, there's always a delay between when you back it and when you get it, unless it's sort of crowdfunded, but it's like the Philips Neo something, NeoPixel, NeoSmart, whatever, the projector that I reviewed a couple months ago now. That was an Indiegogo campaign or whatever. It's Philips. They've already made the thing. It's just basically selling it, but at a discount, whatever. So yeah, you have nice. How did you get LDAT? What's the story behind that? And did you do a video on it with your opinion? How did I get LDAT? Nvidia sent me it. I'm a tech reviewer, and they sent me both LDAT and PCAP. I think I was like the second round, like this is the V2 or V3 or whatever. The metal case one. Where is it? Where's it gone? Oh. Hidden under my multimeter leads. This is the metal cased one, the anodized aluminium. Just rubber pad and a photodiode in there. So yeah, that's how I got it. I don't think I've ever made a specific video on LDAT. Like I've never reviewed it. It's not exactly the sort of thing that you review. And I made the latency tool because, partially because this wasn't good enough, partially because I had essentially already made the latency tool via the response time tool, and third, I made it because you can't buy this, but you can buy mine. Yeah. I have a computer question. Go for it. That's what we're here for. I've had companies stop sending me things because I was honest about the product and they didn't like it. It doesn't bother me. I still get plenty of other stuff in. Yeah, same. I mean, I was quite publicly dropped by a company for for stuff. Yeah. I've been looking at the next version of the Mac Studio, which have an M4 Ultra and a minimum of 196 gigabytes of unified RAM. So would that be more powerful than my personal build for half the price? The only thing, what you call it? Come on, brain. The only thing about potentially using Macs for it is really just the software compatibility. Because I know that a lot of the LLM stuff uses CUDA, obviously, or ROCm, AMD's implementation. I don't know what the what you call it? Support is like on for running LMs and stuff on Mac. The other thing to keep in mind is that 196 gigabytes is shared VRAM and system RAM. So the more RAM you have there, the better, because with a Threadripper and 44090s, whatever, even if they only have 24 gig of VRAM, you're still looking at basically 100 gig of VRAM or 96 gig of VRAM plus 256 gig of system RAM, rather than 196 gig, but split between GPU and CPU. The Dragon Company, but the better now. I mean, in theory, yeah. I still haven't reviewed a laptop from them since, I don't think. I don't know who to talk to for that anymore. That's cool. Reminds me, any recommendations for cleaning the sensors? One of the sensors need cleaning. I don't want to mess up. The actual sensors themselves are the photodiodes. Here's one wrecked earlier. They are in. Come on, focus on the focus on the thing right in front of you. That way. Okay. Minimum focus distance. There we go. So as you can see, these ones are pretty manky because this is a broken test board, so I've been soldering. But they're in acrylic cases. You should be able to see that basically that they're in little acrylic shells. So it's really not a big deal. It's not an image sensor. As long as the light can physically get to them, it's fine. Like if you scratch it up real bad to the point where like it's cloudy, that might, you know, affect its accuracy, but it's fine. I would probably just use a Americans call these Q-tips, cotton swabs, and a bit of isopropyl alcohol basically, and just scrub. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I said, they're in acrylic cases. They're the acrylic can stand up to like soldering heat. It should be fine. um. Yeah, no. When I get to if I do like color calibrators, well, one you won't need to because I mean the in fact I got one over here. That's the sort of sensor you get on the color calibrator. Like you're not getting a cotton swab in there, but dirt isn't getting in there either, so it's fine. Decided I'm not going to purchase the latest tool. Fair enough. I'm very interested in the tool and I love testing, but I'm not too interested in testing specific tweaks right now. I'm prioritizing my learning. Fair play. And it's just saying the designs might be available to make one yourself if you like. Yeah, I mean, there's I can't remember what's actually in the GitHub repos. I know, especially for the response time tool, that's 100% PCB files. Everything's in there. I think I keep forgetting to put stuff for the newer tools in. But the circuit diagram is definitely there, so you can definitely, you know, make one yourself if you fancy. Um, um, also, I didn't read. We call that way of drafting docs here app. Roughly translates to if it slips by, it slips by. Nice. Yeah, I think that's probably their philosophy for it, isn't it? Oh, you agreed to it? No, I didn't. Well, yeah, you did. It's in this document that you said, yeah, that's fine. Ah, bollocks. um, ba, 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 ba. Joe, any plans for at the wheel, or is it just going to remain a bit of an as and when you get a spare time? Yeah, I am. Um, I'm almost permanently oversubscribed in my life, and especially this year with the ulcerative colitis, it's all just gotten way more difficult. um, and so yeah, I am. I kind of have to prioritize the more immediate problems like health, uh, the what you call it, preferred, let's call it health problems, and the things that like keep me afloat, which is the tools and this channel. Um, so yeah, I would love to. I would love to do more car videos, um, but it's a lot of time commitment to make the videos in and of themselves, and it's also a lot of like mental effort commitment to like contact car companies to get press cars or whatever. And even just like, so I'm replacing a water pump on Saturday for my neighbor. Um, Even just to like film that to put it up as a video, it easily doubles both the amount of time and effort. And I'm already running on fumes in terms of ability to do stuff. Like right now, even as I'm just sitting here, I feel sick, my stomach hurts, and both of my knees are killing me. And I'm just sitting talking on a live stream, man. Um, so yeah, uh, the idea of not only replacing a water pump but then filming every step of it, I just can't. So um, your health and progression of working is always a priority. Focus on what you need to do and let things come as they do. Exactly. I mean, the tools has been really quite a sort of saving grace for me because it allows me to get closer to what I kind of really enjoy doing, which is like learning and creating things. And like when building physical things in particular, there's an extra bit of joy added compared to like just making a video. This feels like a bit more of a final product, as it were. Well, not this one. This one's very much a test and dev board. But the final tools. There's a bit more definitive, and it's also been a great way to supplement my income, so that as like YouTube has its ups and downs, this is a nice thing to keep me afloat. So yeah. Just to be clear, I'm 55 and retired now, so having an AI computer was either that or go with a faster car. Nice. Wife said build the AI computer. Fair enough. Understand the importance of health. I've just been diagnosed with early stages of dementia, so I want to build the AI computer to help my daughter. Well, I can only apologize for your diagnosis there. Um, I have some experience with that, and it's not fun. Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, like you, I like tinkering with my Raspberry Pis. Um, yeah, nice. I do I have several lying around? I've got the one in front of me. Um, Here's one I prepared earlier. um, I use, if you can't tell by the wires hanging off it, I use this one as a bit of a test power supply for my for the breadboard on my desk for developing these tools. Um, da, 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 da. Right. I'm not sad about it. I've led a wonderful and full life. Well, that's great. Um, that's good. Just reading the LTT sister channels, Tech Quickie, MAC address, and Game Linked are all shutting down as the members of those teams have left LMG. Oh, yeah. Well, that's news. I I have to assume if they've all left, that means they're going to start their own thing. So we might see some similar channels very soon. um, but yeah, damn, I didn't know that. Um, I wonder if there will be a some announcement videos or whatever. Yeah, damn. I wonder why. Is there any announcements or anything from any of the people? I feel more for my family. Yeah, I mean, when I say I have experience with it, obviously, uh, I don't currently have dementia, Alzheimer's, or whatever, but I do have some experience with family members having it, and yeah, it's not fun. Um, sorry, Craig, we're quite open here if you can't tell. With the with all of our problems. um, yeah. Got a degree in computing and a master's in marketing. Nice. I might hear something on Lancashire tomorrow. That might be possible, yeah. I suppose we'll have a look. They got all their 5k upgrades and left. Yeah. Also, Joe, do you think you'll get to a point eventually where you think you can employ someone to help with the workloads and relieve some of it from you? I know it's not financially viable just now, but eventually, I would love to. I would love to. Um, well, realistically, I would love to have a team to help me do stuff. Uh, um, but yeah, uh, I think the the problem with hiring someone is even if I could afford it, who do you hire first? Because like part of me would want to hire a sort of a manager to um like be able to go and like get sponsor deals and like review samples and stuff. Um, and like basically do all the company outreach for me because as much as I like dealing with specific individuals that I get to know at the various companies, it's also it's it's a lot of effort and a lot of like uh fakery, which being autistic, I'm not very good at. I'm at a disadvantage in that world. Um, so yeah, uh, but yeah, the I definitely would like to have people helping me with this insanity, but yeah, uh, I really can't afford anyone. I can barely afford myself. So yeah, um, yeah, I'd like to at some point, ideally. Easy, you hire me. Well, I mean, that might be an option because clearly you work for 50p in a Twix, so I make at the will videos for free. I mean, if they're not as terrible as I have to assume they would be, um, I'd love an editor, but then I'd be like you and be too picky about the way they do things. Fair. I mean, editing is not a super like big sort of time crunch for me, basically. So, like ironically, like filming, actually script writing is probably my biggest bottleneck because it really doesn't come naturally. And even though I've been like writing scripts for all of the videos for like 5 years now, I'm still not very good at it. So yeah, I guess if it's something that I can like just info dump a load of information to, and then they can write a compelling and engaging script, Ideally with like some shot notes and things so that I know what to film. That'd be great. And yeah, but yeah, I'm nowhere near there yet, so we'll see. Michael, I'm afraid I don't know. It's not my wheelhouse. Like so, talking to people wasn't my forte. Yeah, yeah, same. I've been script writing for the last 8 to 9 videos, and they work better in practice when filming, making it flow better. But yeah, script writing can be a pain. Yeah, since I got the Elgato script prompter, it made things easier. Nice. I have a DIY setup. It's terrible, but it works. So, yeah. Any point measuring 0.1% lows in games. They seem to get out of whack with anything and everything. Personally, I generally don't. The software that I wrote to take raw game data, like present data and like in-game benchmark data, and then spit out average 1%. It also does 0.1% lows. But as you say, the closer you get to basically just reading out the min and max, the less stable the results are, and you get a lot closer to like just measuring like reporting a random value. If you can do it repeatably and therefore see trends in it, then it can be useful. And I know that for some games, it might be the case that like, yeah, no, the averages and the 1% are fine, but actually the 0.1% lows are all over the place, and that is actually a problem. Um, like from a user experience perspective, but also that's the sort of thing that you might want to look at the frame time data for, to then like the actual frame times themselves across your benchmark run, to see how they fluctuate, and if you do get random spikes and things. But it can be an indication at times. So it depends on what, like, you know, what software you're using and whatnot. But for me, my software just spits out all three numbers anyway, uh, and so I think I would rather have the data available, to see if it, even if not to use. I'd love to see your setup. It's literally a block of wood, a picture frame on some hinges, and a nail through 2 bits of wood. Um, to, yeah, uh, yeah. Um, and I use a tablet that you just slide on the bit of wood. The wood sits on a bit of tripod. It's absolutely terrible. And then I use an old T-shirt. It's actually a Samsung SSD T-shirt. To drape over the camera. Yeah, like I said, terrible. What do you use a NAS? So I have 2 NASs. I have a personal NAS and a work editing NAS. My work editing NAS is a Threadripper 24 core, 2950X. I can't remember, 64 gigs of RAM or something, and 10 terabyte WD golds, and a 2 terabyte or 1 terabyte, some amount of terabyte NVMe SSD as a write cache, running Unraid. That's my overkill NAS because it's 24 core Threadripper. NAS, stupid. And then my personal NAS is I think it's just 10400F, and 4 8 terabyte drives. Two of them are Seagate Ironwolf Pros. One of them is standard Seagate Ironwolf. One of them is a Seagate Archive drive, which does mean that it's shingled. I know. And that's TrueNAS scale. Running ZFS. Yeah. The last one I saw was the one you did for me all those years ago for my channel. A very young and fresh Andy. I think I vaguely remember that. It was probably, what, 7 years ago or something. But Which, bearing in mind, if it was 7 years ago, that means that I will have still been making YouTube videos for like 5 years at that point. Oh dear. I think I started off just like utterly rambling, and then uh, I would write notes on my phone, and then I'd have my phone on my desk that I'd like read the notes from, and then eventually I started writing full scripts and built the telepromptery thing, and I've been using that since. Yeah. Craig, yes, it's been my full-time job since I was, let's call it 19. I'm 27 now. Almost 28. Um, Rambling you, never. What do you think this is? Oh dear. Yeah, I know. I finally got monetized the other day. Now I can live rich off of my £10 a year. Nice. Congrats. It'll grow. It will flourish into £10 a month. I mean, that is like what, 100x? Oh no, 10x increase. Not bad. Yeah. Anyway, exactly. I think I'm gonna call it there. That's our usual hour. As always, these are every Thursday night at 8 p.m. UK time, so feel free to pop back next week if you want to chat. Videos tomorrow and Monday, as normal. And yeah, I'm gonna go be in pain vertically instead of upright. I'll catch you guys next week. See ya.